Welcome to The Fix. I'm your host, Brock Bevel. You know, with today's society, everything is virtual. A lot of what people see on TV, they believe is an absolute truth. So people are quick to judge without getting all the facts first. So what about the aftermath? Today on the show, I have Shawn Hinton, who can help answer some of these questions. Welcome, Shawn. I have a bone to pick with you a little bit, man. I'm a Round Valley Elks fan. And you have been the demise of a lot of joy and excitement and happiness over there for a few years.
It's gone both ways. I had some demise over there myself. So,
well, Shawn, you were a football coach in Thatcher, 2 championships, right?
Yep. I'm
glad you don't wear the ring. I'm glad you're not that guy coming in to show.
I used to.
I can tell you that my son Taven played for those 2 teams that lost, and you are the cause, man, of a lot of sad drives home. I just want to say
I don't know if I was the cause. I had some really good talent out there, so I just tried not to mess it up.
Yeah, and I remember him coming home and said, "Man, those kids worked hard. They were good kids."
Yeah, they were really good.
You had some good teams, but
really good kids.
But coaching matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I want to talk to you, and the reason I invited you in today is I know you personally. We're friends, and I know your story, and I kind of want to debunk some of these myths. You know, I went online just in research for this.
Scary.
Scary. Don't Google yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I went ahead and Googled you, and I just wanted to hear, because I know we've talked about some articles that come out. But what's interesting is on every single article that I've read, you're only identified as a coach, right?
Yeah.
And I know,
well, among other things, that's probably the best one. I want to be
right, but like former Thatcher football coach Shawn Hinton arraigned on drug charges. Okay, so just a blast. And if someone's reading this about you, they know nothing else about your life. The next one, former Thatcher football coach Shawn Hinton arrested on DUI, right? So I mean, there's others. I mean, we both have that stuff.
The first one was my favorite. Was Hinton knocked off his perch, and it showed me getting a Gatorade bath. You know,
so, I didn't see. I should have brought that.
He got a lot of flack, so he changed the title of that article. That was the first one when I went into rehab. Was Hinton knocked off his perch, you know, and succumbed to his addiction and is in a treatment center.
Okay. Good. So, hearing that and reading hearing those today, is that who you are?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I want to know a little bit about you, because you and I have a similar history, both fanatical in football, right? From the area. Actually, one of your coaches that you had coached with you coached me in college in like 1993.
Yeah, he's the reason I got into it. You know, I was kind of lost, and Coach Conrad asked me to be the JV football coach, and I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. You know, so big influence. Yeah.
If you don't mind, tell me, like, when did you notice you started transferring from really being athletic to more into being interested in drugs?
You know, late in my football career at ASU, you know, I always what I thought was like the weekend warrior, you know, the weekend partying and stuff, you know, a little in high school, but you know, on into college at ASU and stuff. But towards my into my time at ASU, you know, and I ended up going to MCC, but you know, I realized it started being a problem. You know, became more than the weekends. You know, it became more serious drugs, and you know, definitely was showing up places I didn't want it to.
Okay, so you're a school teacher in Thatcher. Yep. You're a football teacher or a football coach in Thatcher, and you went to 2 state championships, and I can tell you that the people in the community love you. The people outside of the community, not so much.
Definitely can relate to that, or definitely believe that.
do you still maintain some relationships in Thatcher in the area?
I do. You know, I mean, in the midst of my addiction, I cut all ties, you know, hide from everybody. But whenever I am around, or whenever I come out of the hole, you know, I got some really good support. You know, those articles, there was a lot of backlash, you know, and as there should be. You know, I'm working with kids, and you know, when that stuff comes out, you know, people are mad about it. But you know, reading some of the comments and stuff, I had a lot of support.
Yeah, the reason for that support is because you got some reach, man. Like it's interesting to watch you and develop, and just from an outsider looking in, because I only knew you as a coach as well. Like these articles,
probably saw me throw some fits on the field, or
but I'm a passionate guy. I mean, I come from a passionate family of football coaches. My brother coaches, you know, still coaching, and I just feel like it's part of the game. Yeah. You know what what I want to get is I want to get into your psyche is like, how do you remove that mask, man, when the society, when the community doesn't allow you? You have days sober. You know, you're doing everything you're right. You're putting your family life back in place. And what the community doesn't understand is you got to go home.
Yeah.
After these arrests and after this life that becomes destructive, you got to go home.
Yeah.
Right? You got to go home to these people.
Yeah.
And so what was your foundation, man? How did you get to it, and how did you start reworking yourself?
You know, just one day at a time. You know, it's kind of a cliche, but you know, I had to, as much as, you know, it was hard, I had to not worry about other people's perception of me, you know, because I worried about that for too long. You know, I lived a double life for a long time, you know, coaching football in Thatcher, but also, you know, the addiction and stuff taking full swing, and I really had to worry less about what people were going to say and worry more about who I was and who I wanted to be.
Did the addiction just like take over? I mean, was it small baby step? What happened? Like I guess that's my.
Man, it definitely took over, you know. And before Thatcher, I was in Fort Thomas, you know. And I absolutely loved working in Fort Thomas, you know. And there wasn't much I would have left teaching in Fort Thomas for besides, you know, the Thatcher job. You know, that was my dream job, and I was surprised I got it.
Right.
Surprised a lot of people, I think. But you know, by the time I went to Thatcher, I was fully addicted to pills, you know. And it was like I had two full-time jobs, working overtime at two jobs. You know, I put all I had into coaching and stuff, but at the same time, you know, just the stress of every day looking for the pills, you know, worrying about not having them, worrying about, you know, and you know, you made your mark, you know, I had some really good kids, you know, and just, it still hurts, you know, what a hypocrite, you know, here I am, you know, making them toe the line and expecting all this out of them, and then, you know, what I'm doing, you know, and stuff. And so it was hard, you know. And when that first article came out, you know, Hinton knocked off his perch, as much as it hurt, it was also a relief because, you know, there, it's out, you know, like yeah. I've tried to hide this for so long, you know, and people were catching on close to me and things, but like there it is, you know.
That's what I did. Who knew? Did you talk to anybody? Did you divulge any of this? Where was your people? You
know, I mean, the people I was getting the pills from and stuff knew, you know, and some close friends, you know, and family, girlfriend, you know, wives and things, they knew. But other than that, you know, I didn't want anybody to know. You know, obviously, I mean, it was bad. You know, it was real bad, and I mean, it totally took hold of me, you know, and that's when I ended up going to rehab. It was on my own, you know, I hadn't gotten any trouble or anything, but just the pressure, you know, we just won 2 state championships, you know, and, you know, the first 2 we weren't really expected to win, you know, but the third one we were, you know, and so I felt the pressure mounting and stuff, and, you know, decided it was time, you know. I had some help, you know, another assistant coach that I kind of divulged to a little bit of what was going on, but as much as I thought I was hiding it, people were starting to see, you know. I mean, when the coach is the last one on the bus, you know, or is the one being late and stuff, you know, they know something's going on. So what
were they seeing? Did anybody ever say, "Hey, dude, what's going on"?
Yeah,
because I'm sure you changed.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, those pictures, man. I was skinny. You know,
I asked you who that was.
Yeah,
man.
I was skinny.
You put on what, 70 pounds or something?
At least 60. Yeah, you know, and yeah. So I mean, people definitely started seeing, you know, but I was going through some other things. And so I'm good at talking, and so I always, you know, pushed it off. Oh, I'm stressed over, you know, over this family issue, divorce, you know, or I'm, you know, people thought, and I really did put a lot into my job, but, you know, I think some people thought, you know, oh, stress, you know, he's really working hard at, you know, watching film or whatever. Yeah. But I mean, it was so much more. So I tried to divert it to other things as much as I could. But by the time I went to rehab, people were definitely starting to find out.
So you're not the only guy going through this. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's other men, there's other women that are going through the same struggle that you are, and they're probably at a breaking point too, where they kind of wish they get knocked off a little bit. What advice? What could you share with these people that are watching?
Man, I wish that I would have listened to the signs, you know, and I gotten help so much sooner than I did. You know, don't wait till you hit rock bottom, because, you know, I definitely got to rock bottom, and that bottom fell out a few times, you know, but it just kept getting so much worse, you know. And I look back at what I gave up and what I had, and just I wish it didn't have to get to that point, you know.
Yeah.
And it will get to that point. You know, there was a while, I mean, I was functioning drug addict, you know, and hit it well, you know, and like me and my mom had lots of conversations and battles, you know, about it and stuff, you know. But
because she knew.
Yeah, she knew.
Because she saw it.
Yeah, she knew, and you know, I couldn't hide it from those closest to me. You know, it was too much. But you know, here I am, I'm successful, you know, we're winning state championships, you know, like it's helping, you know, or, you know, who cares what else I'm doing, you know, we're winning, you know, that kind of masks all, but, you know, until you're not, you know, until it does, you know, come to a point.
But you were winning and it happened.
Yeah.
Right, so you didn't get knocked off there. I mean, you got yourself knocked off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I checked into rehab on my own, and then when the article came out, and I was trying to hide that even, you know, it was during the summer, you know.
Right.
We were just getting ready to go to camp and stuff, and I didn't want no one to know, but, you know.
Why?
The stigma, you know, I mean, here I am, you know, telling these kids to, you know, expecting the most out of them and, you know, what I'm doing in my own life, you know, the embarrassment.
So how do you change it? I mean, like, because I think that's everybody's concern, man. Like, hey, I mean, shoot, I was a police officer.
Yeah.
Turned into drugs. And so, like, that mask that we have to put on, that makes sense? Like, you wore this mask as a football coach, and that was protecting all else.
Yeah. You know, I mean, now I own it. You know, I mean, there's no, I mean, obviously there's no hiding it now. You know, it's out there. You did a Google search, you know, and more than one popped up. So, I mean, that makes it easy to own. But, you know, that's just what you got to do, you know. And I just look at it as how much it's helped me. You know, I mean, there's some things we learn in recovery, you know, in programs that'll help people that aren't addicts, you know. And so just how much it helped me grow, you know, it's all part of my story. And
give me some of that. Give me something that you could help another person, not a drug addict, that you've learned.
You know, the communication, just, you know, being able to relate to people. And that's kind of what I always thought was my biggest asset as a coach, too. You know, I love the kids. You know, I'm talking to them, you know, just spending time with them and stuff. But that helps everybody, you know, whether it's your pet dog or, you know, your best friend or, you know, a fellow addict. Just being able to relate to people, spend time with them and loving them. You know?
So your best ability is communication, so you think. Communication,
you know,
right? But you didn't communicate with nobody.
No.
Except for mom, maybe dad, maybe your brother.
And I mean, I downplayed it to everybody. So I didn't fully communicate to anybody about how bad it was.
So were you just lying to yourself? Were you lying? I mean, what?
I was lying to everybody, myself included, you know, and telling myself it wasn't that bad, or I could quit when I want, you know, when there was a good time, you know. But I'm the king of rationalization, you know, like, oh, now's not a good time, you know. I got this and this coming up, you know, and stuff. But I mean, it's always a good time.
But now you're at the pinnacle of state championship. I mean, my dad coached for 30-something years in high school and never, I think he won one playoff game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I look at you and I'm like, that guy's successful, right? And why wasn't that enough?
You know, I mean, I got asked that question by my mom. You know, I had wonderful kids, you know, relationships and stuff, and I got that question a lot, you know, and I couldn't answer that. You know, I don't know why it wasn't enough. You know, it definitely should have been, but I was in the midst of a full swing addiction at that point, and just I thought I needed it. You know, as dumb as it sounds, I was worried about, are my halftime speeches going to be as good, you know, as my play calling. I thought I did everything better, you know. I thought it helped my play calling. I thought, you know, I was just so worried about the aftermath, the withdrawal, you know, like, can I do it, you know, without all this?
So what was your addiction looking like? I understand the coaching aspect because you're winning, so you were obviously good at that. What was the addiction like outside, off the field, out of school?
Oh man, I mean, and it's consuming, you know. I mean, I'm at this point, you know, at the second state championship, I am an everyday meth and opiate user. Okay. You know, I hadn't got into heroin at that point, but it came later on. But you know, and just the stress of every day thinking that I needed that, you know, and if not, you know, I mean, I know that I didn't need it, but at the time, you know, without, I mean, sleeping, you know, just not functioning, you know, I needed it to function at the time, and just, it really, you know, I mean, I put a lot into the football. It took away from that too, obviously, but I mean, what suffered was my family life, my personal life. You know, I mean, everything was either the addiction or coaching football. You know, right. I got lost in those two things, and a lot of other things suffered. You know, relationships, kids, family.
How are the kids now?
Great.
So you're redeveloping that?
Yeah. You know, I mean, I've got two different families. You know, and so I still have one that, you know, it hurts me as much, but I don't get to see. But you know, my other two boys, you know, I get. A lot, you know.
Right.
Of course, you want them more. You know, I want my boys all the time, but no, you know, you saw the pictures crawdad fishing.
Oh man,
you know,
those are big crawdads.
Just having a good time. Yeah. Only one kid got bit, so.
Oh man.
It was a good time.
So how do you not self-sabotage yourself? So you're slaying it, man. I feel, just from an outsider looking in, I mean, I know you. How do you not take all these wins that you're getting right now and self-sabotage yourself?
I just always got to remind myself where I was, and I know you're not supposed to look into the past, forget about your past and stuff, but, I think it's important to, because, I mean, I found any reason to do it, whether I was feeling bad, whether I was feeling good, whether it was a celebration or remorse, so.
I win the championship, it's going to get high.
Yeah, exactly, it didn't matter the occasion. I found a, rationalization and everything, but just reminding how bad it got, because it got really bad. I mean, we're talking about the early days of the addiction, the state championships and things, but after that, when I lost the coaching job and stuff, and then I ended up resigning the teaching job, probably I would have got fired anyway, the path I was on,
right.
But I got real bad. I spiraled downward fast,
Redemption is the word I keep thinking about. Do you feel like what's your plan now? I know your vibe. I talked to some of the coaches that worked with you, okay, and all of them said this guy was gritty, hardworking, right? So I mean, I'm sure you did that in addiction too. You were gritty, you were hardworking. I mean, you were trying to get it. But now, how do you apply it today? And do you feel like you'll have another opportunity for it?
The coaching, losing that bothered me, and I used that to, further fuel the addiction, even, into way worse depth. And so, I mean, I've done some stupid things that I hope, I pray I would love to get back into coaching and stuff, but, the coaching was helping people, working with kids, helping people and stuff. And so I'm trying to find, I've got to define myself in new ways, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to coach again, in 2017, a couple different, things. I got Coach of the Year for the state of Arizona, Kevin McCabe and like a Friday Night Football magazine, and I haven't stepped foot on the field since. As bad as that is, it's embarrassing, humiliating, but I've got to find something else that I can help people, in other settings. So I mean, I started my master's,
Yeah,
I started a master's in addiction counseling.
Man,
I figured I was already an expert on half of it. So
yeah, it is so true.
Yeah,
you got to walk the road before you can talk about it. I get that
and
totally.
So I'm planning on, I see myself, for years helping other people in addiction. Hopefully helping them before they go through what I went through, or even afterwards. The aftermath, the rebuild and stuff. But if someday that can lead me back on into teaching and coaching, I would love it. But if not, I'm still helping people and, trying to make a difference.
So tell me this: how do we guys like us that are it's behind us, right? How do we make that impact now? How do we go to a guy and say, hey man, I see the path you're taking. I want to stop you before you hit rock bottom. Okay. Right? What can we do as a community, as a society, to alter that direction in their life?
Well, I think you kind of touched on it, the labels. You get so worried about, oh, this guy is this, he's a drug addict, and you kind of write him off. But it happens to everybody. I think we're two good guys,
Yeah.
And and I definitely wasn't always doing good things, but I think it can happen to anybody. I spent some time in jail, and one of the guys, I went in there and they were all calling me coach, like he couldn't believe the stuff I was doing. I even had some former students in there with me,
Yeah.
They just couldn't believe it. But one of the guys made the remark, heroin don't discriminate. Addiction doesn't discriminate. It'll get us all, and so if you're not careful, it can happen to anybody.
Man, you need to take this on the road. I'm serious. You need to share this. You have impacted a lot of people throughout your past. I have a good buddy that's down there in Thatcher that actually coached with you, knows you well, family friend, and I reached out to him and I say, hey man, I'm about to talk to Shawn. I'm gonna get him on there. I want to get him emotional. No, I didn't say that, but I said, hey man, would you do me a favor and would you give me some qualities? And that could have went either way. They could have said, the guy's a drug addict, he's a loser. Yeah. You know what I mean? And what I did, man, is I love the response that this guy shared. And if I get emotional, that's okay. I'm okay with that, And yeah. If you get emotional, I'm okay with that. But this is real talk, man.
Yeah.
This was off the cuff. This is a few years later. You're removed from the situation, right? But I said, hey man, I just want your opinion on this guy.
I'm nervous.
I developed my own opinion of you, but I think it's cool because it's interesting how we have our own opinion of us, and we always scale it down. You know, I may see you as a 10, man, like this guy is killing it, but you see yourself as a 5 because you just keep beating yourself up. But hopefully this will give you something. He says, hey, Shawn has a unique ability to motivate people. And that's why I said you got to take this on the road, man. Like I'm hearing you, and I hope the people that are in this audience, I hope they listen to it and can see through it a little bit. But our Thatcher football kids would run through a wall for that guy. Even when it was apparent that he was struggling with some things in his personal life, he could motivate. The guy is a winner. 2 state championships. I mean, not only that, but I want to remove that for a second. Like, you're also a winner in life, man. You know what I mean? I don't want you to miss. I don't want you walking out of here thinking that all your accolades come from football. What you're doing today, man, what a winner, dude. What I mean, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
For real. So he's a winner. He has a lot to live for, and could really be somebody to somebody when he conquers his own demons, right? And that takes a minute. Yeah. And what you're doing today by giving a voice to it and by just ripping it out from under your bed that it's not going to attack anymore, that's it, man. I've seen association or addiction take the life of my sister-in-law. I don't know if you knew about that, but he lost his sister-in-law. And I don't pretend to understand it. But what I can say is that I love Shawn, and I pray for his recovery and well-being every day. And thanks for all you're doing. Right, so I read through that, man, and this is a guy that coached with you.
Yeah, my defensive coordinator for the first one.
Yeah,
I probably always didn't make him happy or things, you know. But yeah, definitely, you know, a good guy.
But I think we need to remove the coaching thing, and I want this to be like about you. Like this guy was talking about you. He wasn't talking about the football coach, right? He wasn't talking about what you've done in the past. He was saying, I've seen this guy. He's a winner, man. He's a motivator. So how do you take this information, man, and how do you do something with it, even on those days where it's difficult, man, where you want to stay in bed or you don't want to go to the gym? You know, how do you use this as a motivator?
You know, it's definitely a motivator that people think so highly of me. Because I mean, there was times, you know, sometimes I do think highly of myself. Yeah. But you know, there's definitely times when you get down, you know, you look at everything you've given up, everything you've lost, you know, and I've lost quite a bit to addiction, and you know, just knowing that there are people that still believe in me, you know, after everything I've done, you know, because Ryan was one that he definitely saw it coming, you know, even before it came out, you know. I think Ryan saw the writing on the wall and stuff, but you know, I know him so much more than a football coach. You know, his whole family.
Right. I want to give a shout out to the Thatcher people, you know, and Safford and the people that have run amongst your circle, and you hit it on the head. Like, addiction does not discriminate. Yeah. Right? It takes out pastors, it takes out football coaches, it takes out teachers, and it doesn't care. Yeah. Right? And I mean, if I could give a voice, like, I know you, right? I've seen your grind, I've seen your work ethic, and I've seen the way that you've taken something that has been difficult and you just flipped the script on it and said, hey, this is who I am, I'm transparent, this is what I'm about, but this is the new guy. Right? And I don't want you, I don't think they need an apology, because I don't think that's what it's about, but I think our actions, the way we live our life from here on out, is that display, is that apology. That makes sense? Yeah, definitely. On not going back to those behaviors. Yeah.
You know, I had and still so much support back home. You know, it's you know, it's touching. You know, I mean, definitely I couldn't blame them if they did write me off. You know, like, here you are working with our kids, you know, and you're also doing this, you know. So, I mean, I definitely expected more people to be mad at me, and when I read the article, you know, everything's on Facebook, you know, and I think one of my articles, I think it's up to like 900 shares on Facebook, you know, but I definitely expected, you know, and the people that were commenting negative were people that weren't really close to me, you know, they didn't know me at all, you know, they just, the stigma, you know,
they've had a bad experience with
former coach, you know, this, you know, and that's all they were looking at. But the people that were really close, man, the support, you know, it gets me.
Yeah. So what would you say to him?
Thank you. You know, I love you guys, and you know, it definitely helps. It definitely helps motivate me, and You just push me in everything I'm doing.
Right on, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud on the fact that you're taking the schooling seriously, going to get your master's degree in addiction counseling.
Yeah.
I promise you, I'm stealing you. I'm taking you from where you're. I'm serious, man. Like I want to be a good coach too, man. I need people like you around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To make each other better. And I just invite you to keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. Keep chasing the vase, as we call it.
Yeah, definitely. You've already had a big impact on me, Brock, and I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Well, addiction doesn't discriminate, right? I feel like when we've been to that bottom before, it's okay to lift each other up, and that's where a lot of people don't understand. My wife's not an addict; she doesn't understand.
Yeah, it's hard,
but she understands the support I need. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, hey, man, thank you for watching The Fix. I'm Brock Bevel. If you know someone who is struggling or affected by addiction, there's hope. There's always help out there. Please don't give up. You're important and your life matters. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.